Ronan, you are head of asset finance in Capitalflow. So what does that involve?
Asset finance, it's asset-based lending to SMEs around the country. I have a team of 9 sales directors and business lenders that basically deal with plant hire, truck men, and we finance anything from widgets to cameras to plant machinery, and more recently we're looking at production lines and engineering equipment as well. And it's all based around hire purchase and leasing. That's our main products that we have within the business that we do.
And you like to be in a position to be able to turn around kind of applications quite quickly, don't you? It's part of the kind of ethos of the business.
Our key selling points within the business, outside of, we have to deal and we have competitors with the pillar banks and the other alternatives that are out there in the market. So our key to success is actually turning deals around for people. So most deals, anything from 10,000 to 200,000, we'll turn around within 24 hours. Anything over 200,000, we try and turn within 48, 72 hours, depending on the information that we get in from them from the start. So it's all about, and the key decision makers that we have on the ground are our sales directors. They know when a deal will work and won't work, and they can give a customer a good idea that we're going to get it over the line pretty much there and then, or basically a quick yes or a quick no is actually what a customer actually looks for in the business.
The sales staff, your sales staff, have got a lot of kind of leeway to take initiative and to make decisions quickly and so on.
Yeah, they can't make their own decisions because that's why we've got an underwriting team and stuff like that, but they've got the experience behind them to read a set of accounts, to look at a set of bank statements, to know the asset that we're financing, and to know how much equity that we need in it and what term we can do it over. So based on those variables that we have, they can nearly tick a box to pretty much give a fairly definite decision that they can actually do the deal or not do the deal, as may be, depending on whether the decision or their client's credit history has been over the last number of years. And on that basis, they do make decisions themselves, but ultimately it is inside that do it.
So you're saying that you're kind of a unique selling point or whatever is partially your ability to make decisions quickly and turn that around.
Absolutely, and it's actually the unique selling point, and one from the customer's point of view, that they know they can buy the asset. 2 is that we can tell the end user or the supplier that's supplying the asset, because that's a key part of our business as well. That's the support and how we actually get our business as well out there. I mean, we have a direct selling team. They are contacting customers all day, every day, and their own, I suppose, black book initially. But as the business has grown, you're now 3 years in, and we need new customers. And the only way to do that is through different affinities and different intermediary markets that we work within. So that's between the broker markets and our suppliers. And they want to know the decision is quick, so they can actually supply the asset or move on to the next customer. So in that basis, then our decision makers will actually be able to say, yes, we can do a deal or we can't do a deal, and then run it through our underwriters to cross the I's and dot the T's.
Now, I know that your chief executive, Ronan, obviously, I know you know who he is, he said, I think in 2016, I think there was about 60 million, you started out with 60 million pumped into lending, and that's risen to, I think, 350 million at this point.
That's right,
So you're lending big money into why, hasn't the kind of lending to small and medium-sized businesses and so on, like, why has that been even an issue or difficult for them to access credit?
It's been difficult because the banks and the other financial institutions, they haven't made it easy to be available. They don't have the personal touch. That's one of the things how we've grown our business over the last 3 years, is that the decision makers and the salespeople that I have on the ground they know their customers. They've been in the areas that they deal in for the last 20 odd years. So they've got a customer base, and the customers will follow them to a certain degree. But the new customers that are now coming through, it's all by referral as well. It's like, well, look, they answer the phone in one ring. They'll answer your email straight away. And it's the personal contact we found as well that has really built this business to what we've got today now.
Is this possible, do you think, to maintain as the company grows and gets bigger and you're dealing with more amounts of money and more people, is it possible, do you think, to keep that personal touch?
It's possible to a degree, but we have to bring in a digital part to the business in order to facilitate, I think, our existing customers. I think our existing customers will still stay within Capitaflow because, one, loyalty, and two, they get the decisions that they're looking for. And again, but with our digital platform that we need to actually, bring on board, it'll help our existing customers as well, because everyone is getting to the stage where they've got an iPhone, they've got smartphones and all that type of stuff. So they actually want to be able to go on and nearly do it themselves. So for an existing customer base, if it'll become easier for them without the customer contact, but at the same time they still know that if they need something and they want a decision made, they can pick the phone up to one of their key decision maker or their local salesperson that they've dealt with over the years, I know there's been an awful lot written about it and a lot discussed about it, but in terms of the level of bank lending at that time in the kind of heyday of the Celtic Tiger. Yeah. I mean, I know it's easy to be wise in hindsight, but did you think that it was excessive, or did you kind of think this is all going to end? Honestly, I was 28, 29, 30, so I didn't really think that far ahead.
Okay.
When it was at that, it probably was excessive when you look at the property side of it and where it went to. We were looking at machines.
Yeah, okay.
We were looking at different stuff. So it was probably a case of, look, we were given targets to do, and that's what we had to do was get them and meet them.
Okay. And do you think lessons have been learned well?
Yeah, huge lessons have been learned. Yeah, absolutely.
And what are they, do you think? The key ones.
Well, the key one is actually prudent lending and knowing a balance sheet, knowing what a customer can afford. There was an awful lot of deals done on the basis of customers having a contract for 3 or 4 months. Let's go and buy a new machine. Let's go and buy a new truck. Now it's an awful lot more controlled. People are basically a bit more, savvy in terms of, well, if I buy a new truck or I buy a new piece of plant or whatever it is, that we'll think about it a bit more. We'll look at the figures and we look at the longevity of our contracts that we've got coming up. And also people aren't buying the new stuff as much anymore. There's a lot of second-hand business going around, which is where we're really good at and what we've done over the last basically 3 years within Capitaflow. Because you have we've got our competitors, which are also the vendor finances, the Scanias, the Mercedes and the other guys out there. So we can't compete directly with them, but where we will be is a very good second, and we'll do an awful lot on the good second-hand equipment as well. Not to say that we won't do the new stuff, but that is one of our key marks as well.
So Ronan, away from business, I know you're very much into sailing, and you sail pretty much in an elite level and have won multiple national trophies. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, we've a boat called Storm, and when I say we, I've 3 brothers and my father.
So it's a family.
It's a family,
wow.
Real family affair. They have a family business. I was kind of what they say, the black sheep. I don't work in the family business. So we have a boat that we manage between ourselves. Dad owns the boat, but we basically do all the work and stuff like that during the winter and winterizing and getting the boat ready to have it for the elite stage that we're at. We probably started the campaign on this particular boat back in 2011. So it's not just a fly by night, win a couple of things and it's going. We spent an awful lot of years getting the boat to where it's at, changing different tactics, changing different sails, changing different rigging and stuff on the boat.
So you sail out of Howth? Out of Howth, yeah. You come from Rush.
Yeah.
But you sail out of Howth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Small sailing club in Rush, actually. We still sail under the Burgee of Rush because we're Rushmen through and through. So
I used to play cricket up there.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Good. I think they're pretty handy too.
Oh yes, North County Dublin, not an easy place to go.
No. So we've been always sailing out of Howth over the years with different sailing events up there, but we keep the boat permanently in Howth for the last 8 or 9 years. And myself and the lads, we campaigned the boat, year in, year out. Last year we had a really successful year. We won the Celtic Cup, which is a division of Cruisers 1. They call it the RC35 class, which is a very competitive sailing event where there's 15 boats through 5 different regattas during the year, and the top boat obviously takes the Celtic Cup home. It was the inaugural year of it, and we
this is a big thing. I know it's like all elite sport anywhere is very competitive, but I know it's hugely competitive.
It is because it comes down to the the crew being, the main thing, the boat being prepped right, but gear as well and gear failure. So we're always, tweaking and changing things on the boat. And that's probably what's made this success over the years, where we'll always look at, well, what we went wrong in the previous race.
But you're obviously very cooperative with each other. I mean, because the sense that I get of quite a lot of people on boats is that you potentially have a really good helmsman or something, and you've got some people who are barking orders and so on, and obviously depends how well the crew respond to that. You're a family, which is obviously slightly different. It must either give you a huge advantage or a huge disadvantage.
It's both, actually, right, to a certain degree. When it's going really well, it works.
What qualities do you need on?
Well, Dad's actually the skipper most of the time when he's on board, and we also have a tactician. We have gone through 2 or 3 tacticians over the years because it's about barking orders and stuff like that, and it's to have respect for each other. That's really what it comes down to. Each one of us on the boat have probably nailed our skills in terms of where we work and what job we do on the boat, and we all need to do that really, really well. My job on the boat is basically as pitman, and I manage the halyards in and out, and I also manage the rig. The rest, there's 2 other guys on the bow of the boat. They have to manage their area, and it's all about those little things and making sure the sail changes are right.
So everybody knows their job and everybody knows exactly what's expected of them and so on.
The skipper is obviously one of the key points.
And he is your father, so I presume there's a natural authority there anyway.
Yes.
And a respect.
There is.
Does a boat need, by the way, a dictator?
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
And who dictates? Is it the skipper, the helmsman, or
it's generally the tactician and the helmsman? Yes.
So they've got to have a relationship that works.
That works, absolutely.
So you talk about the subtext of what you're saying, I suppose, is you've got to be together. There's got to be discipline. There's got to be a kind of a strong sense of everybody knowing exactly what their job is. So what does it look like? What does mutiny in the Bounty look like? What does it? When it goes wrong, describe what that's like.
when it goes wrong, well, whether it's on the boat or in work, it's like on the boat, it's coming into a mark, and you've 3 other boats around you, and you're leaving the sail up too long. You get blamed and you're called out, but everyone then rows in to make sure that we right it as quick as we can, and we get involved in it. Yes, there's shouting and roaring. Yes. There's a few harsh words said here and there, but we come back in off the boat. No one has any grudges. It is what it is, and we get on with it, and we fix whatever went wrong or fix whatever broke, and and we get out there and go and do it.
There's a kind of an honesty about it. You're saying that you discuss it afterwards. What happened?
We do sit down and we do discuss what went wrong, because there's roaring and shouting can happen. That's fine, but everyone does have a mutual respect about their job, because anyone that knows that if they've done it wrong, they'll actually hold their hands up and say, lads, it's on my bat, but I'll still shout back at you if you're giving me shit while I'm on the top of the boat.
Now, there's somebody I know who shall remain nameless, who comes from the south side of Dublin, who I met in Howth, and he told me he was sailing.
Yeah.
He was sailing out in Howth, and he said the wind was better on the north side than it is on the south side. That's what he said. And he said the racing is better. Is that true?
That's very true.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why? Because he was more or less saying... He kind of spoke a little bit like that. He was more or less saying, you get a lot of Northside cowboys. So
we would be a fairly known as a banded boat around in the business, because we're from the north side, and far north side as well. When you take it, we're all most of us, and everyone that sails in the boat is from Rush as well. But like the wind is more consistent around Howth most of the time, because within Dunleary, it's just the way the bay is, and it's actually like a washing machine. So you can have really good winds in one side of the course, and it can change on the other side of it and completely different. But I suppose one thing I have to say, in the national championships 2 weeks ago, we were second in the Irish National Championships out of 22 boat fleet. Could we have won it? It came down to 2 races and 40 seconds between the 2 boats, between a win and a loss. So it was anyone's really to get that competition, but the actual wins were really good for that weekend, so I can't really give out about my last sailing event in Dunleary. It was actually pretty good, and we were okay with it.
And I've heard an awful lot about people, like, I don't know anything about sailing, but people approaching markers and stuff like that, and people trying to kind of cut in on people and all that sort of stuff. I mean, does that happen? Is it?
It does happen, yeah. There's rules and regulations, and it's generally
grey areas.
There's grey areas. There's always grey areas, a bit like business as well. But yeah, there is grey areas within what we do within the sailing. And what we do with that is, you know, you call your marks, and if you hit the mark, you have to do your 720 and do your turns, or if you hit a boat, then it goes into arbitration, or it goes to a committee then to actually you fight your case. And there's a lot of, should I say, lies, and whoever can shout loudest and be on the right side of the jury kind of wins. But look, there is
whoever
right and
puts their case.
Yeah, correctly.
And presumably quite a lot of them are actually legal people anyway who already know how
there
to
is
put
a bit
together.
Of that, yes.
How to put together.
Well, there are international juries as well, but you know, there's some really stupid rules in it as well, like not flying your flag the right way and stuff like that, where you know completely in the wrong when the protest will just be thrown out for that.
As a matter of interest, what gives you? You're obviously very, very successful at the sailing, and what gives you the kind of high about winning? What is it about winning that makes you?
Well, it's just a competitive edge, really. There is the winning side of it, yeah, and I suppose that's always something that I've had a competitive edge in. I'm a family. It's probably come from family as well. I'm second in line of 5 of us in a family, so it's always kind of stretch or starve at any stage.
Second in line?
Yeah.
You sound like Henry VIII here, actually.
Well, no, I don't mean, yeah, okay, well, that's the way you want to put it. But, no,
so you're obviously
I'm number
a competitive
2.
bunch.
Yeah, we're just a competitive family,
Yeah.
and at everything that we do. So, and I've always been that way myself.
Right.
Whether it's, you know, with the sailing, in work, always wanting to be top sales guy. Going that extra mile. Working the extra hour to make sure that things are right and business is done. Like,
this is something that I hear quite a lot about sailing. You know, at a high level, that there's big boats, big crew, well-paid people, and so on and so forth. What makes it not work? What makes it not gel?
What makes it not gel is crew and people not actually getting together, and to be quite honest, a certain amount of money as well. Some people think that the more money that you can put at something, the more successful you can be.
But in this case, it can be sometimes
it's
counterintuitive.
Because you can put somebody on a boat, a bit like what I mentioned earlier on about the tactician and the skipper not getting on, or even with the crew not gelling right. And I suppose that's something that we've got right over the years within Storm.
And tell me, Ronan, have you seen it go badly wrong?
Yeah, I suppose a really good example would be at the national championships just gone, where my dad actually wasn't on board because he's off ill at the minute, but we've another skipper in, and he's a family friend, and a tactician as well. But we were coming into a mark, 5 or 6 boats around us, and the sail change was going horribly wrong for the guys on the bow. One guy was shouting one thing at the bowman, another guy was shouting something else, and he lost it. Came back in the boat, there was nearly blows, but we all grouped together. You have to have a mediator, you know, get people back on board. Everyone thought that the race was actually in the shit. We got ourselves out of it, but there was nearly blows at one stage on it. But after that,
who's the mediator then?
There was
That's
2 of us.
on
2 of us on the boat. There was myself,
so you would be a mediator.
Myself and my younger brother. Because we were standing between. To be quite honest with you, on a boat, whether I can say this on air or not, you've got what the guys on the front of the boat normally call the back of the boat. You've got 2 people on the back of the boat, and that's owners and assholes. And that's really the tactician where they come across with that. But he does call the shots. He does call all our sim. But that day he got it wrong, and there was a mistake made at the front of the boat as well. But so I suppose it was back to, lads, stop the fighting. Let's get the sail going. Let's get the boat back going. And that's really what it came down to. Was there anything else that came out of it at the end of it? No. By the time we get back in at the end of the race, everyone's back talking, and you know. Away we go.
So egos can be very destructive at times.
Yeah. Well, there's different. You have 9 different personalities on a boat as well. Okay, there's 4 or 5 of us family, even 6 of us now. My nephew's actually started, but. There is, you know, there is egos, there is different hotheads. So everyone has to play to their strengths and weaknesses, and that's why everyone has their place on the boat. And no dissimilar to the business in Capitaflow, you know.